suspected sabotage in a key Middle Eastern sea route has set energy markets on edge. Two oil tankers sailing through the Gulf of Oman appear to have been targeted by an unknown attacker. Aerial footage shows the extent of the damage. The crews of both ships managed to escape unharmed, thankfully. There's no word yet on who was behind the attacks. Iran says they look suspicious at the very least. And we've just learned the UN Security Council will discuss the attacks in a few hours from now. CNN's Gul Tweezes joins us now from Abu Dhabi. What's the latest, Gul?
So this is still a developing story, but here is what you need to know and what we know so far. These are huge vessels, but they're commercial vessels, so they really have no way to defend themselves. But both of them came under attack with explosions and fires on board while sailing through the Gulf of Oman. Both of them are carrying really risky cargo. One is carrying oil, the other one is carrying methanol. And here's how it played out. The first ship, the Front Altair, that's the oil tanker, sent out a distress signal just before 7 in the morning, reporting the sound of 3 explosions on board. 74 minutes later, a nearby ship got there and managed to save all 23 crew members on board. They handed them over to the Iranian Navy for safekeeping. The rescued members were 11 Russians, 11 Filipinos, and 1 Georgian crew member, and they are now being taken to someplace safe in Iran. They are safe and sound. So that's one ship. On the other hand, you have the second ship. You have the Kokuka Courageous. That one was carrying methanol. We have a little bit more detail on how the attack actually played out from the operator of that ship, who said that the ship was, quote, hit by some sort of shell, not once, but twice. The first shot hit it above sea level and sparked a fire, but the crew was able to put it out. We're not sure about the damage the second shell caused. The crew on board of that vessel are also safe, and they are with the American Navy. One of them was injured, but for now, what we know is that the crew is heading back here to the UAE. The ships themselves, they are still floating in the waters of the Gulf of Oman. And as you mentioned, those waters are critical. Some 1/3 of the world's crude oil passes through. So any instability there can have cascading effects on the global economy. And that's a worry. But the bigger worry, of course, is that this is the Middle East and it's not an easy neighborhood. So the concern is that this could have cascading effects politically, militarily, and that it could really, really trigger this already powder keg region. Allison?
Yes, heightened tensions after these attacks, certainly something that can disrupt supply. Gul Tweezes, thanks so much for the latest on the attack. News of the suspected attacks has sent the price of crude higher as investors predict rising geopolitical tensions could disrupt oil supplies in the region. Let's get to our Claire Sebastian to talk more about markets looking very jittery today.
Yeah, absolutely, Alison. I think given that this is the second such incident in this area in the space of just 2 months, and given the fact that it took place near the Strait of Hormuz, which we know is a critical choke point for the global oil industry, about 30% of the world's seaborne crude passes through there. This is certainly causing concern. But I think it's worth looking at the broader macro context for oil. The move could have been a lot bigger had there not been so many demand concerns affecting oil right now. Oil prices have been falling steadily really since the end of April on concerns about the US-China trade war, how that could dent demand, about concerns about slowing global growth generally. So I think given the fact that today those macro concerns haven't gone away, the market hasn't reacted quite as strongly as it might have done to this potential for tensions to escalate in this critical region. Having said that, when the similar incident happened on May 12th, we did see a lesser spike in oil prices. So I think the fact that we are now seeing something of a pattern emerging here has raised the risk premium in the oil markets.
Yes, this is something that oil investors will certainly be watching. Claire Sebastian, thanks so much.